goodness! That was impressive. So guys, welcome back to RBR and to the first drive of the new AMG G63 performance version and our off-road version as well. This is the all-new version of the updated G63 that now features a mild hybrid setup on top of the already amazing and powerful V8. That means we have an integrated starter generator in there that gives us another 20 horsepower on top of our 585 brake horsepower and a boost of 200 Newton meters on top of the 800 plus already on there. That gives this car a 0 to 60 of 4.3 seconds, but that's not the interesting thing about the new G Wagon. This new performance edition has an amazing new active suspension system that's been derived from what we saw in the AMG GT and the new SL that promises to make this car even more of an AMG when it comes to faster, more dynamic driving and a better car when it comes to off-roading like a G should as well. So today we're going to check out how this car drives, and we're also going to give it a comparison to the previous G63 and see how that drives back to this. What are the differences? Is this one worth going for? So a lot of questions to answer. So let's dive in and check out this brand new AMG G63 performance. So guys, our G Wagon had already been around for around about 30 years before AMG entered the scene and converted the G Wagon from what was a design icon and a really great off-roader into, for the first time, a crazy performance SUV. And back then and today, many still question this decision of why would you make such a square, tall, big thing a performance car from a performance house. But anyone who drives a G63 will tell you that is one of the most unique driving experiences in the world. And it's not about the nths and tenths, it's about how it makes you feel at the end of it. Now, despite that, we've got a new addition here called the G63 Performance. It's part of the facelift. In the facelift, you can either get a standard G63, which comes with those mild hybrid upgrades that I told you about with the ISG, or you can go for the Performance and the Off-Road Edition. These seek to elevate the G63 to a level that it's not been at before. As a quick reminder, you have your standard suspension in the standard car, which is again your AMG ride control suspension, which is great. But then you have the new active ride control suspension in the Performance. This has adaptive shock absorbers with hydraulic connections at each wheel. And essentially, the car can engage either a comfort valve or go into a really rigid mode, thus controlling each wheel separately, so that when you're driving faster in corners, it can become much more rigid, and as you get on the straights, it will loosen up and allow the car to glide through any uneven surfaces. So it should make this car, like I said, become more of an AMG when we're driving much quicker. In terms of the off-roading ability, it allows each wheel even more freedom and the suspension even more freedom based on your own choices inside the menu system here. And you can then tailor the off-road experience to yourself. And essentially, it turns this car into a crazy rally car, as I experienced here. And my neck is still hurting after doing this. Seriously, it was damn impressive. And you can see I took the car for a few jumps and a bit of an off-road drive. And it was just insane how quick this thing could take this course here. I was absolutely staggered by it. So I did get a really good idea of what the off-roading upgrade was like, and it was high. Design-wise, it is a light massaging of the original design, but I think they've done it where it really counts. I think the front end of the previous G63 was too soft. It looked too much like the standard G Wagon. The vents weren't different enough. It just didn't do it for me. This one, they made it look like our other more aggressive AMGs with the separate air intake section, which is body colored, and the fins that you see in things like the GT. But it also kind of reminds me of the bull bar shape, and not every territory gets the bull bars. So it's kind of cool that they made that look even better. This particular spec I think is gorgeous. This is Magno Monza Grey with the champagne wheels, with the red calipers, and it just really works in this specification. Let's take a look around it. Guys, I think this is a fantastic spec in this Monza Grey Magno with the full night package, full carbon package, and we've got the new gold champagne wheels with the red calipers. This is a really good look for the Performance. I need to show you around it. I love the front end. We've got lots of G Wagons here, by the way. This is a proper proving ground here in Montpellier. That front end to me is absolutely perfect. They've really nailed just massaging the G63's design to look that much more aggressive. Because I think it really needed it. That lower end, it really needed it versus the old car, which was, it just didn't look aggressive enough. So yeah, that really works for me. I think they've done a good job on that. The rest of the car is basically identical to our pre-facelift. But what's nice is we have the carbon package now, where you get these trims, this lower underguard for the off-roading element, all in carbon. You can see the famous G Wagon strip through here, also finished in carbon, along with the AMG logo. And perhaps the best bit is the full carbon fiber rear wheel cover, which again, it looks so good, doesn't it? Really classy, and more carbon down here. So tons of carbon this time on the G Wagon, and some other really cool changes. For example, the black side sills and the black exhausts that we wanted for so long as G customers. These wheels look great, don't they? I was unsure about them the first time I've seen them in person, and certainly on this spec, they look really, really good. But the G is still a G. Looks great. There's another spec in the exact same Monza grey Magno finish, but we've got the traditional G multi-spoke finish there with the black satin, which again looks quite good, but like, it's not a huge change to the current generation, but that front, like I said, it just still looks more aggressive than what we've had, and we needed that, I think, because I never liked the kind of the softness of the previous G63. This kind of, you know, it mimics the more aggressive AMGs, a bit of that bull bar look as well as a optical illusion, I think. This is more of a zany spec. So you've got the hyper blue with the gold wheels of our current car, and they don't really look gold here. They look much more champagne-y, as they do on that car as well. So I don't think gold is the right descriptor at all. A lot of people said that this would be great as a specification to me previously when I was filming the other one, and yeah, it's not bad actually. I think you can rock it, but it is a bit brave. Hyper blue itself, I think, is an absolute win in Magno, but would I get it with these wheels if I was ordering one? If I'm getting a performance, I think I'm getting it with hyper blue with the silver wheels, probably. I think that would be great, but yeah, great looking car in both of these specifications. And of course, you can customize these as far as you want with the manufacturer program at Graz, and they will do whatever you want within a reasonable cost. So guys, Manufacturer Kundenwunsch. This is a new program. This is beyond the standard manufacturer that we've been talking about on G Wagon for the past few years. And this one is the one where you can do things like paint to sample. And they're extending it to paints, to leather finishes, to whatever you want to do around the car, essentially within reason. And this Kundenwunsch program is going to sort that out. If it sounds familiar to what other manufacturers are doing, it's exactly what you think it is. So this, for example, is the, I believe, Galaxy Beam that was on the Crazy Color editions, which actually really suits the G. Beautifully sparkly paint. Look at that. Absolutely stunning on this. Really, really like this spec actually. But yeah, you can choose anything you want. You could, you know, give them your favorite paint shade from another manufacturer, send them your underwear, I don't know, but they will match it to over 20,000 shades that they have, and then you can get the G Wagon in the color you want. And of course you can choose things like, you know, the arches and interior, etc. So yeah, that is manufacturer Kundenwunsch. Started again, the G team pioneering things for Mercedes as usual, and we're here for it. All right guys, in the all new G, let's give it a turn on. Love having the new MBUX in here, which is great. Let's see if it still sounds as good as it used to. Same familiar sound that we love. See all the changes they've done in here, including the new different drive modes. Check out my first look of the G63. I'll leave a link down below. Now, before we head out, what we're first going to do is drive the previous G63, okay? Because I want to remind us what that car is like to drive fast, because that doesn't have this active suspension system nor does it have this added hybrid assistance. So let's see how that car fares, and then we will jump back into this car. So guys, here we are first in our old G Wagon, okay? So this is the non-hybrid 463, last of those old ones, the 2024 model. And driving this one is going to be much like driving the standard one in the new gen as well, if you don't get the performance or the off-road package. So it's important that we see what it's like. And as many of you will know, as we've done G Wagon before, this is a roly-poly machine that is more like a wild animal that you need to tame, because there's so much body roll, particularly when you're driving fast in dynamic corners like this. I love it personally. I think it's part of the G's character, but it is part of that character, the body roll, the fact that you have to account for it and correct for it. It's even when you're accelerating in this version of the G, you don't know whether the car is going to go left, is it going to go right. You know, it's quite an unpredictable beast. And while I do love that at times, it does hinder one from the actual job of going fast. So for example, if you put our foot down, I'm turning left, I'm turning right, I'm doing quite a bit of correction there, just to make sure that the car is on the straight and narrow. But the biggest change that I'm hoping to see when we drive this new one now is this kind of, you can see me kind of leaning left, right. It's this body roll, it's the body control, it's controlling the spring rate per wheel. How is that going to be different to this? We can try a little launch off the line as well, just to compare. Now there's no launch control, so we just have to hold the brake. Come on. Didn't want to do it, did it? So that was kind of part of the cause with this particular car. So these are the bits we're looking for. We're looking for how has the hybrid element helped, how much of this course correction and wrangling of the wild animal is reduced in the performance version, and will we improve the speed and generally the dynamics of this car? Let's find out. So guys, off we go in the brand new G63 Performance. Now, before we drive this, we're first going to check the 0 to 60, because this is really important for this car. First time we've got launch control in the G Wagon. Let's see how we get on. Oh my goodness! 4 seconds in a G Wagon. That was impressive. That is mind-blowing. Literally mind-blowing. Our previous G63 didn't have launch control, and off the line, as you saw with the previous one, like nothing to write home about, right? This, I mean, that's worth the price of admission alone, right? Absolutely brilliant. Really, really happy with that. Speed is not really the king when it comes to G Wagon, but it's important that we get a good launch read. Tell you what, the sound sounds completely different to what it used to. There's a really significant kind of grumble and rumble coming from it that I love. There's just something different. There's more little burbles. There's a real menacing growl in there. Oh, that wasn't there previously. I come into these new cars thinking they're just going to sound worse, but whatever I'm hearing inside, there's way more pops and bangs outside. The upshift is menacing. It's menacing as hell. I never liked the G63 for sound. I mean, look, I love the car, but all the other AMG SUVs always sounded better with V8s. This, whatever they've done to it, I'm here for it. It sounds bloody brilliant. I absolutely love that. That is addictive. Now that, paired with that ridiculous launch control and the responsiveness of the engine, is, I'm already sold on this. How's the gearbox? Predictably not as snappy as the other AMGs, but this is a more relaxed car, so I'll forgive it. In terms of handling, oh my God, it's keeping flat. Did you guys perceive that? I stayed within my seat without moving side to side. You saw what it was like in the previous car. We just tried it, right? That was not what we experienced. And that wasn't even a very fast corner that I took. Let's try this again. We're going to go in a bit faster. Oh my God, that's not... I'm stunned by that. Jeez, that's not G63 turning. What is going on? That's more like a proper sports SUV. AMG, what have you done? Does it lose some of the G character like we were? I don't think it does, because everything else is still there. Your steering that you're familiar with, the sound, that whole experience, but it's just tighter, it's just more flat. Goodness gracious, look at that. Look at that. More speed. It's flat. It's handling it so well. Christ. I don't know what to say. Other than that is hugely, hugely impressive. Wow. So handling. Different car. Different car. It's like G63 was always a level above G500. G63 performance is... it's doing a really good impression of a much more capable performance SUV. Have we negated all the negatives of G, almost? What is important though is engine response, because we've got this mild hybrid system now, right? And I did always complain that the G's initial response when tapping the foot on the accelerator was never quite as responsive as the other 4-litre V8s, right? It was always a little bit laid back. And that's not something I'm finding at the moment with this car. Like, I tap the accelerator and it is instantly responding to my commands, which is really nice. Of course, you get that 20 HP, 200 Newton meters immediately, which is really, really useful. Look at me tapping the pedal here. It's definitely more responsive thanks to this hybrid system. There's no doubt about that. So, incredible car, incredible handling. You saw the launch. You've heard the sound, every bit of it worth whatever the extra price is. I don't know what they're going to charge on top. Whatever it is, pay it, because everyone's going to want this one. It is superior in every way. Tie that whole experience into the fact that you're also getting up-to-date everything here. Finally, even things like a leather-covered airbag here. You know, things that we hadn't had in G, but you've got CarPlay, you've got MBUX, you've got extended ambient lighting. Hey Mercedes, turn the ambient lighting to blue.
Okay, I'm changing the color.
You know, things like this that we haven't had in G. A great vocal assistant. It's brilliant. In terms of driving in a more relaxed way, which is also really important, we've got really good roads here, and I can't dislodge the car in any way. We've got a better suspension system anyway, as you know, that opens up the comfort valve when we're going in a straight line, and all the roads here are perfect. When I was off-roading, yes, I could definitely tell that the contact on the ground was fantastic because the wheels had that much more play. On the road, it's just a comfortable G Wagon. I want to drive this in the UK, and we will. Hopefully mine is coming very, very soon. And then we will see what is it like in a country with absolute shite roads. So in conclusion, versus your standard G63, the sound more exciting, which I'm so happy about. The launch control, really good. The handling definitely improved. The off-roading, absolutely insane in the off-road version of the car. Either of these versions, whichever one you choose, you're going to be very happy with, because they are bringing a character beyond the standard G63, at least from the pre-facelift. We'll see one day if that's the case with the normal car without the performance suspension in it, but I suspect it's going to feel quite different to these. Versus the electric G, it's a really interesting comparison. That feels definitely a stage underneath these. Nowhere near as quick on, off the line, not as dynamic as this. So this really does sit a level above, as it should, considering the price, considering the fact that it's an AMG. So I'm happy about that, because when I drove that, I felt it was quite close to the standard G63. So yeah, this is where it should be. It's the top G63, and it really feels it, it really sounds like it, it really drives like it, and you can configure it any damn way you like thanks to the manufacturer program. It's a great, great car. So guys, I hope you really enjoyed this first drive of the G63 performance. You're going to see much more of this car on the channel, so subscribe, wait for those videos. You're going to absolutely love the spec that I've come out with. So yeah, I'll see you next time. Me, I'm going to try that launch control just one more time. I need to do it. Ridiculous. See you guys next time.